And today we are going to talk about ageism. For my clients, it's a very real issue. And I just have to smile because I am so excited about who you're going to have present to you today. They are powerhouses. They are beautiful. They are vivacious, and they are energetic women over 40. And so Barbara Brooks and Guadalupe Hirt, I will turn it over to you in just a moment. If this is your first time with Colorado Career Connectors, we welcome you. This group was started in February of 2021, and we have had amazing speakers. And this is all about bringing high quality talent to you so that you can in turn resonate who you are and make yourself a person of high quality if you are a job seeker, or if you are looking for that next promotion, or if you...
Shelly, I'm sorry, I muted you by accident.
Okay. Technology, it's all good. So welcome everyone. Again, we're talking about ageism in the workplace. I am going to share some screen slides with you, and then I'm going to turn it over to SecondActWomen. For those of you that I have not met, and if this is your first time at Colorado Career Connectors, welcome. I'm Shelly Johnson, and I help soul-inspired high achievers amplify their business and their career. I'm an award-winning career and business strategist, and I worked for 20 years in Fortune 50 companies like Lockheed Martin, Honeywell, and a joint venture between Banner Health and Quest Diagnostics. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about my personal journey of how I started my business and a little bit more, about myself. I am a very young 51 years old. I spent 51, that's right. This is what 51-year-olds look like. I had a lesson from Barbara the other day because so many times women want to hide their age. And I am proud of my age. I had my youngest daughter at 41. 41, snap, snap, right? So at 49, I decided to leave corporate America and start my own business. And since 2019, I have more than doubled my business, and I've helped over 70 people to amplify their career awesome, everything from resumes to hardcore coaching on mental fitness and positive intelligence. I'm telling you these things because I'm also a Zumba instructor. So I totally rearranged my life, and I'm living a life of purpose and fulfillment. And I get to do that every day. I'm a certified positive intelligence coach. I also started another business. So 3 businesses in 2 years called Next Chapter Academic. And I'm truly living my best life right now. So for all of you job seekers out there, if you're looking for a framework on how to focus on your job search, go on to my website, Best You Career Advantage, get the guide, and there's a 13-page document that will focus on your vision, your mindset, your strategy, and your tactics, along with consistency and positivity that will amplify what you're doing for your career. I also wanted to let you know that we are having some free events this week. I'm going to be doing my Amplify Your Awesome, Igniting Your Career on Thursday at 4 p.m. this week until 5:15. And I also, thanks to Yvette, just launched my YouTube channel where you can see all of the videos from Colorado Career Connectors, videos on networking, compensation, behind the recruitment curtain with some of the top leaders in talent acquisition across Denver. And we have more coming up for you. So please subscribe to that. That's a free channel for you. We're really trying to get our subscribers up. So we'd love for you to get the guide, join us at any of our free events coming up, and to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, it is my complete honor to welcome Barbara and Lupe to Colorado Career Connectors. They have been seen on Fox 31, Fast Company, Denver Startup Week. This is their third year presenting to Denver Startup Week. They've been quoted in Forbes. They presented at Microsoft. And they've also been presenting at or giving articles through the Denver Post. They have a award-winning background in public relations, marketing, and now they are business owners that are age positivity speakers. And I could not be more excited to turn it over to Barbara and Lupe. So let's give them a hand, everybody. Whoop, whoop. Thank you for joining us, Lupe and Barbara.
Everybody, here a hand. Y'all are rock stars. Hold on, sorry. Oh. Okay, let me get out of this part. There we go. We were trying to multitask and be present on two computers, and it doesn't look like it's going to work out. So. No, like it. Hey, everyone. So nice to see all you amazing faces. My name is Guadalupe Hirt, and I'm Barbara. I feel like I need to be doing this or, you know, like mock my picture. Strike a pose. I'm learning how to wear my naturals as we pull up our information. Guys, we are so excited to have you. We are here in Denver, Colorado, as Lupe pulls up our presentation. Yeah, and actually it feels, it says on you need to quit sharing, Shelly, for me to be able to share.
And I will stop sharing.
And this is interactive. So we want, there are going to be times throughout this presentation or this information that we're providing you, the celebration of you, basically. We want you to take part in this chat. So don't feel like we are here just to preach to you or, you know, anything like that. We want you to take part in today's activities that we have set for you. So, you know, as we said, today it's really about providing with the 5 tips to really play age to your advantage. And oftentimes you'll find throughout this presentation as we talk that we feel it's a detriment. When in actuality, it's to your advantage, it's to the advantage of the employer, and quite frankly, society alone. You saw me put into the chat, and Lupe agrees that, you know, we want you to say your age here. We're not asking you to do that in any interviews, but we are about age equity and age positivity. And I am 54. And as I like to say, 54 is the new 54. and I'm 48. And so, so what we're going to do today is talk to you about, let me get my glasses on because we will make, you know, a few jokes here and there, but gendered ageism and the realities. That's part of today's takeaway, because we really want to empower you, or as we like to say, power you up. Empower is not one of our favorite words, because if you were to Google it, it actually means someone is giving you the power to light yourself up. So 5 myths about us. Men and women, we are not the sexists ourselves. We recognize there are few men here today. And then workplace equalizer and 14 plus desired skills that employers are really seeking today. And I know, Shelly, as we go into this, you're going to be really having a banter with us and talking to us as well. And at the very end, we're going to provide you with a homework assignment. Yes, we may not come from the education industry, but we do believe in providing you with some homework so that you can really take what you're learning today and move on it as soon as possible. So that said, let's talk about who we are and why we're here. We started this company because we couldn't get hired. So we decided to do something about it. And so we are a membership community that is really here to fight, rescript, and combat gendered ageism. It's a problem in the world. If you really think about it, ageism is the only one that comedians, comedies, and anybody across the scope, across the world can joke about. It is the only ism that could be the brunt or the end of a joke, so to speak, the butt of a joke. And it's not funny, because it's real. And so we're here providing real relevant content and education and a lot of support and digital tools and the like right here in Denver, but also across the globe to advance you women, sorry men, that's the only time we're playing favorites, to really help you land jobs and create deeper connections. Now we also focus on entrepreneurs as well. But today we're here to talk about us as a whole. So that said,
what about you?
A little bit about me is I come from the shopping center world and media. By the way, that's a little mascot in the middle. That's Riley B, my little 5-pounder. But I do come from corporate America. So I get it. I know where you're at. We started this company again because I, at the time at 51, couldn't get hired as a minority. And by a minority, ladies, I mean, as a woman.
We've got some feedback coming in, so I'm not sure if you guys want to check that, Lupe and Barbara.
Is that us? Oh, we're not on. We only have this one.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And so, so really, you know, I come from corporate. I get you. I understand you. I've been an entrepreneur since 2011. And has since became a 3-time entrepreneur. But I'm here to help other women because I saw a problem. And I brought this woman who has been with a couple of my companies, a couple of companies together, we held co-founders. So she'll tell you a little bit about her.
Hey everyone, I'm Guadalupe Hirt. I am co-founder of SecondActWomen. And so I, unlike probably many of you, I come from the entrepreneurial world. That's pretty much where I've spent the last 25+ years. I've launched 4 businesses, 2 of which with my work wife, 1 obviously currently present. But what was interesting to me is at the time that we were looking to start up SecondActWomen, I was trying to get into corporate America. I was done with the entrepreneurial life and wanted just a steady paycheck. And it was kismet. Like she was trying to get back into corporate. I was trying to get into corporate, and we were both being shut out. And so it just was really kind of stars aligning that instead of, you know, allowing people to define us or to say too much experience or get all the Dear Jeanette, you know, not a culture fit, et cetera, you know, as we started to talk to other women in our age group, we started to recognize that this wasn't just our challenge. It was the problem that a lot of women and men face, especially going, you know, as early as even mid-30s in tech, depending on the industry. And so we decided to do something about it. And, you know, it's been a wonderful ride, and we're really excited to kind of share just a little bit about how we've been able to start to change perspectives about age and really kind of taking a look at it more as a value enhancer versus as a detriment. So we're taking this on the road, ladies and gents. SecondActWomen was launched in July of 2018, and we have been hustling like since then to really bring this conversation to the forefront. As many of you know, it's interesting that, you know, like to Barb's comment, when we talk about ageism, it's something that for some reason is just been socially acceptable. And so it's something that people just tend to look the other way on. And we're saying, no, this is time now to actually look at it, start to kind of scrutinize it the way that we should be. And we're really kind of taking this to the media because that's really the largest platform, megaphone, shall we say, that we have available to start to change minds. But not just those of in the workplace or an entrepreneur, but even within our own selves. The idea that we internalize a lot of this and we sometimes show up that way can definitely affect how we, you know, we perform in our jobs or in our careers. To boot here, we are super jazzed to announce today, actually, because today is the first day that it's publicly announced, is we have made the Facebook Accelerator Program. We are one of 31 companies out of 2,500 plus that apply to be part of this accelerator program globally that are going to be showcasing your voices, championing for more conversations about rescripting ageism. And we just wanted to share with you because today's the first day that we can publicly talk about it. We're so excited.
You guys, I don't know if you understand what a big deal this is. Like those commercials that we see on Facebook, like join this group. Like you were going to see these women like in national and international commercials. Like I am so honored to know you at this level that I know you.
Oh my gosh. We're honored to know you. You and Lisa. We don't notice that Lisa and Kelly Barnes. Yeah. So let's just say we're hustling to make sure that we're not forgotten collectively. So the reality as it stands right now, and probably you've even experienced on the job, whether it's currently in your current positions or as you've been looking for careers, is the fact that the new sexism is really all about gendered sexism and ageism. Some of these stats that you'll see here are definitely disturbing based on the statistics that are our realities.
and they will continue to be as we age, regardless of the fact that age is a common denominator that we all will experience. If you see the last number here, 92% of DE&I initiatives don't include age. That means that people are definitely a hiring young trend. They employ younger workers. They don't see the value that we bring to the table. So really it comes down to our job is to start to educate those that are hiring to make sure that we start to change that culture, start to change that mentality within ourselves and within those kind of corporate trends as well too. But the goal of this slide is to remind you that you're not alone. Not alone. Experiences are not imagined. This is a reality, and we're going to do something about it, both you and we and us. So with that said, we want to know where you guys are at. So if you guys would like to take your unmute, we're going to take just a quick poll just to understand who's in the room. But let's take the first question here. So how many of you believe you did not get hired for a job because of your age? Or you can hit us up in the chat, whatever's easiest, or a show of hands too. Yeah. The fact that there's...
And how was that experienced? How was that experienced? Tell us, how did you know? Because it's sort of a silent ism, and there's code words, and you know, and there's certain things that you might not recognize, but you might have this gut feeling. It's your age. So can someone unmute and tell us, how did you know and how did you experience? Yeah, Brooks,
Oh, Joni? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were focused on succession planning. That came into the conversation.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is a keyword.
Yeah.
Phrase.
So that's a new one for us, succession planning. Okay. And who else? What was another code word or code action?
This one's interesting.
Too much experience.
What was that, Kelly?
Kelly, too much experience.
Yeah.
Experience. As if that's a bad thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right. And let's take a third.
This one was interesting from Lyle, that we can't afford you, you're too expensive. And wouldn't you be bored in this job? How many of you have had that one?
Oh, yes.
Like you'd be bored. Or,
yes, all of those.
All of those, right?
Yeah. What about the next question? Were you passed over for a promotion because of your age?
That you believe.
That one hasn't been experienced. All right.
Well, I think twice now in the same company because of age. So they're not really hiring from within, but they just keep bringing in younger people who last a very short amount of time and they don't learn. So one of the big reasons I'm looking very hard.
Yeah. So not hiring from within, that is also a code.
Yeah.
Also, yes.
I mean, because definitely right now, the hire young trend is a prevalent trend. And so that's just one way of saying, we're not going to cultivate and invest in the current talent. We're going to bring it. We're going to source it in a sense. What about, have you experienced or witnessed an ageist comment on the job? Have you been the recipient of one, or have you heard someone else make a joke?
Diane, what happened?
There we go. I had a young engineer say to me, you need to update your picture on the company website because it doesn't look like you anymore.
My mouth is to the floor. What did you say?
Oh my God.
Response?
Oh, I said, it's just fine. I'll leave it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's me.
Wow.
Yeah. AARP did a recent study on ageist comments, and it was like 69% of people over the age of 40 had witnessed or experienced an ageist comment in the past 2 years on the job. And so it's one of those ladies and gents where you just have to be mindful. And yes, it may create uncomfortable conversations, but it is our responsibility to start that conversation. And it takes instances of being aware and then taking that moment to also educate, to make sure that whoever is saying it next time thinks twice about making comments about changing your photo, for example.
And we're going to give you, this was all solid info. So what we're going to do is combat that. We're going to help you combat those comments and those code words. So let's talk about how many of us remember this? 15. Molly Shannon from Saturday Night Live. That is how we were once seen as 50-year-olds. And that was long ago. Think about that. That was maybe 15 years ago when she was on SNL, and we would all laugh at it. We would all laugh at this skit when she would do this. But the point is there are several myths, and these are just the top 5 myths that companies need to recognize. That's why we're here to help combat that. But it actually costs the money and the company, and I think we all agree, the company much more, so much more, to let you go and hire a younger zennial. We have to remember, millennials are actually 4-year-olds now. There are doctors and things. So to hire a zennial or ex-zennial than it is to have an intergenerational team, which we'll speak of later. They think that it's going to cost them more, but in actuality, we're here to stay. We stay longer on the job, we're loyal, and we are here to just simply enjoy. Doesn't matter if we have applied for this job and it's $50,000 or $60,000. They think that, oh, wait a minute, it's 50 or 60, haven't you made more? Why would you even want this position? No, in actuality, you're applying for that job because that's what you want. Maybe you've been in management before and you're ready just to have a $50,000 or $60,000 pay salary and enjoy your time on the job and not manage any longer. They think we're not productive. We're not as productive. How many of you would say, are you kidding me? Not as productive. I feel like I'm even more productive. I see, right? What makes you more productive on the job? How does that? What, let's fight this myth. What to you makes you more productive on the job? On top of that, we don't adapt to change. Are you kidding me? We're going to talk a little bit later about how we are tech natives. You've heard of digital natives. We are tech natives. Have you thought I literally came up with that earlier this morning. We adapt to change. We had all these new things happening. We had fax machines and VCRs and all these things. And even back then, we were so excited to adapt to change. And we're still in that mode where, if you think about it, how hungry are you to learn something new? Probably even for some more than you were for in college. There's this thirst to learn more. And the fact that we lack tech savvy, are you kidding me today? What are we doing? Yes, some of us had to learn Zoom, but there are so many other things that we have learned through the ages, again, as tech natives, that counteracts that narrative that we are somehow, we lack tech. And the fact that we're, as many of you have said, and or would agree, that we're overqualified. Why is that suddenly bad? If you're overqualified and you're going for that position, does that, to me as a manager, say that you're going to get in here and do the job and do it right? Because as we start talking about some of the things you bring to the job, that now suddenly they don't have to manage us and spend all this time and energy in training us and money. Overqualified my ass. Sorry.
Okay, I have a story here, you guys.
Please.
So one of my clients in 2020, 65 years old, executive director for a large nonprofit. She was in oil and gas for years. Well, as we know, in 2020, during the pandemic, oil and gas really took a nosedive, but titling and mortgages went way up. So she figured out how to find the pain points of the oil and gas company and the title residential companies. 65 years old, had 2 offers in one day because of her energy, her brilliance, her smart, her analytics. And so I know, because I've seen it, because most of my clients are 40 and above, it's really about attitude, mindset, strategy.
That's right.
And leveraging that resonance and that emotional connection. So I just want to let all of y'all know, it does happen. It happens every day. And people just need good news stories like that.
Absolutely. And there are some hard and soft skills we're going to speak to that you're going to think, oh my gosh, you're right. I actually, own or 14 of those skills I have, or 12 of the 14 make me valuable. So the point is, women and men, is that your age is a superpower. Your age is a superpower. You have developed and/or development in the fact that you have developed focus, you've developed judgment, clear understanding, comprehension. You have a lot of development skills to bring to the table that, quite frankly, the other generations may not have, because some of this has been inborn and/or taught to us in the days where there wasn't a lot of tech. You have the collaboration, yet you also know how to be independent on the job. So you've learned how to collaborate. You've learned those either on the job, off the job, side gigs, all throughout. Yet you also know how to be independent. You're a problem solver. How many of you have gotten on the job, whether it's new or you've been there for years, and you have been known maybe as the problem solver? You see it, and you see it because you have that clarity, that depth of knowledge, that understanding, all those things, all those soft skills that we have acquired through the course of time to land us where we are today, be that problem solver. Let's face it, you fine-tuned professionalism. Yeah, we don't have to wear business suits to the job anymore. You can get away with jeans and heels, or jeans and flats and t-shirts, and a blazer, but still you're professional in that you know how to act on the job, you know how to respond to certain situations, you're reliable, and you're courteous. All of those skills somehow have left some of the others in the dark. That is an asset to a company. You're self-sufficient, you're resourceful. And because of being the tech savvy, and you don't have to know everything about tech, but because of the fact that we can Google absolutely 100% of everything, you're resourceful. You also know where else to find information if it's not found online. You actually will pick up the phone and call someone, as someone would say would be old school. And you're patient with 2 T's.
I know, I was trying to fix it on the PowerPoint and I couldn't reach over. I'm like,
I am telling you, you were time tested, you have mastered patience, and do you know why that is? Check this out. Do you remember these days? We would patiently sit in front of our boom boxes and record what is happening. We would play Pong. How patient do you have to frickin' be to play Pong all day for a couple of points? 2 paddle sticks going across the screen. And you had a phone with a wire connected to it, and you would be patiently, waiting for that phone call, or, whatever it may be. The fact is, all of these tools and the tech that we brought into this world in the 70s and 80s makes us valuable people.
all right, who's pumped after that, right? Okay. So with that said, let's talk about the 5 tips to play that age card and get hired. Ladies and gents, it is all about how you look at the value that you bring and how you articulate it in the time when it's needed. So we're going to talk about networks. At 40, 50, 60 plus, you know those go pretty deep. Not just, they're like deep and wide. Odds are you've probably cultivated some pretty fantastic networks that you could put to work for your potential employer or employees. Talk about some of the relevant boards that you're on. I mean, we're all doing so many things, but sometimes we forget to communicate just how big of an impact we're creating in the communities and the industries that we're working with. So make sure that you write down, what boards am I a part of? What boards have I been a part of? You know, what groups do I belong? Like Colorado Connectors, for example. Who can I leverage and connect with other people? How can I leverage my connections to make sure that I either present or offer up experts for workshops that they may be running? Or if I know that they're going to be hosting a conference and I know that so-and-so is a great presenter on this, Why not share and tap your network and make yourself an invaluable asset? Be that business and professional linchpin that they wouldn't have had you not shown up in their, at their office or at their company. Introduce them to clients. We've all worked with clients in different capacities, whether it's in a vendor, situation, you've hired, you've, perhaps contracted, consulted maybe with other clients. Take a look at that. Take inventory of who you have acquired through the years, and pay attention to how can I make those relationships work and put those relationships to work for me. Be methodical and definitely leveraging, because you do have strong professional connections that you can put to work for yourself.
And make sure you're writing these down. These are literally lists for you to create for yourself in case you forget, because it's been so long since you've had to be out there to get things done. These are things that you have to remember that you bring to the table and or should do to, to make sure that the employer knows you have these talents and these connections.
So can I give an example here?
Yes.
To maybe think about outside the box. So every year, the Denver Business Journal or the Business Journal in your area posts the 40 most influential people under 40. So it's called 40 under 40. So a few years back, I received that in Phoenix, and now I'm in Denver. I connect with everyone who's 40 under 40. Right? Now, I know that they're not 40 plus, which is what our age group is here, but through that connection with a gentleman named Barry Birch, Barry is appointed by the governor. He is in charge of the African American Commission here in Denver. He invited me to join this board bound for nonprofit boards. And so I graduated from that. And then I got asked to be on the Denver Women's Leadership Foundation subcommittee to bring more women onto boards. So just through connecting off of the Business Journal, the 25 most influential women in Colorado, you should definitely look at that list. Who can you network in with that? So there's lots of different ways to do this. And I just wanted to give that example of how to get yourself more involved. It's networking through second and third tier. So I love that you guys are talking about this.
I would make a point to put in my planner, whether it's digital or paper planner, either way, or your cell phone, that you are going to make time to connect with someone on LinkedIn or someone you've met somewhere. And now, especially if you're vaccinated, meet them out for coffee or a quick Zoom call. It really behooves us to get ourselves out there now that we can.
Yeah, and especially given the fact that people are moving constantly. So staying in touch is super important, but making sure to communicate your power play there is important. Mm-hmm. So the next one on tap is productivity. Intergenerational workforces are definitely, they boost the bottom line, period. And there have been plenty of studies that prove that value, even though corporate America still is hiring young. Believe me, they will see the light one day. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, let's help them see that light, right? So talk about how you approach productivity, for example. Showcase methods, tools to organize your day. How do you, is it digital tools like she was saying, or is it print tools? And if so, is it a combination? How can you perhaps maybe bring things that you've done in past jobs that have worked really well to kind of get your team productive? How can you apply some of those examples or best practices in your new job to make sure that you run like a well-oiled machine? Share examples about how you reflect and manage your time to meet deadlines. We all know corporate is all about deadlines. So do you have a system that you've perfected through the years that says, hey, you know what? It allows me to move from point A to point B, bring in the right people, keep everybody informed. But again, you can show that through your experience you've acquired and put into practice, and it generates results. That goes into the last point about just referencing projects. Take stock of where you've been and what you've achieved. I know you've done a lot. And identify those projects where you've demonstrated tangible results. You've shown collaboration, perhaps with maybe younger, older counterparts. How have you worked together, created those systems to leverage the benefit that every single person, regardless of whatever generation they belong to, brings to the table? Another great way to show productivity is how do you manage conflict resolution when there exists? We know it does. So have you been able to perfect practices that allow you to move through difficult situations and come out on the other side? Take a look at where you've been and what you can bring to the table and make sure you promote that.
And, you know, I was just thinking about this too, when she was talking about showcasing methods and tools to organize your day or give examples, literally mention an app, a CRM system, Canva, Office 365, Slack, HubSpot, literally mention some of those systems that pertain to that specific position so they understand that you understand what systems you know. I think it's very important for you to have that list off the cuff.
Yes. All right, who's feeling motivated? No, I'm just kidding. The next one is stability. So, you know, in short, it's you know what you want. At 40, 50 plus, odds are you've been there, done that. You know what's worked, what hasn't worked, and you know where you want to go. Now it's a matter of really showcasing what you bring to the table as a tenured employee. Take a look at where you've been. Probably most of us grew up in that time where you would stay at a job for a given certain time and you would grow within that position. So odds are you've been probably in a position for 5, 10 plus years. Showcase that. That is a wonderful example of the fact that you know how to stay loyal to a company and that, you know, identify what have you been able to do at those organizations? What were your key milestones, accomplishments? What practices, programs were you able to either introduce or co-develop while you were there? Take an audit of your past history and where you're going.
Yes.
You also know that at 40, 50 plus, I know I'm ready for my boy to go back to senior year or to senior year this year, and then he's off to college. But like our at-home responsibilities are lessening. So that means that you have a little bit more wiggle room. You're not going to be shuttling to daycare because your baby gets sick, or you're not going to, you know, leave early to pick up the kids from school. So those are all valuable assets that sometimes hiring recruiters just don't, it doesn't register for them. So be mindful and peppering those into conversations so that they know that you've got the bandwidth to take on what they're going to be dishing out. It's also very important, and I know Shelley's going to be presenting on this at our career camp on Friday, but having a clear career vision about where you go, where do you see yourself? And oftentimes, while many will think that at 40, 50 plus, we're ready to retire, we all know that's not the truth. So talk about where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? I mean, what's your career vision? Get clarity on that, and then figure out how the company you're applying to fits into that mix. And let it be known. If you don't speak it, they won't know it.
Yep. So we're heading into number 2, which is hard skills. Oh, there we go. It's our hard skills, guys. We literally want you to make a list of the hard skills that you have. And there are several. There's over 14 to 20 hard skills that you can really draft a list. But literally, as she was saying, when you're talking about and you're drafting your career assessment and you're thinking back at what you bring to the table, definitely discuss ways that you've applied some of those skills and assets to drive positive results. What you have to remember, guys, is even though you are a team member of a corporate company, you're an asset. They hired you for your assets. So provide some of the on-the-job skills and development tools that you have brought to the table. You know, talk about and highlight some of your future growth plans. Just because you're 40, 50, and even 60, does that really mean that we don't have growth plans? We know people all the time that don't even see themselves retiring. They really don't. So some of the hard skills are language. Are you bilingual? Are you a project manager? Have you led a project with several team members of various backgrounds? How can you interject those types of things? Office products, you know, as in Microsoft and Slack and Teams and all those things that we mentioned earlier. Your tech skills that you do bring, please bring any tech skills to the discussion you can to defeat and combat the idea that we do not have them. What about stats? Are you into social media and digital marketing, SEO, SEM? Have you created a website, whether it's for yourself or someone else, or worked on content management? Talk about that and use that terminology. Learn and use, if you don't understand it, learn and understand terminology that are important to your job that you're applying for, and or overarching things that you've done in the past. And of course, have you managed people? That goes back to, you know, what we talked about earlier is managing and project management and development and all of those skills, those soft skills, which is where we're headed next, into what you inherently have. So let's hear really quick, what are your top 3? We'd love to know what are your top 3 hard skills that you bring to the job or will bring to the job that you're looking to apply for. And as you're thinking about that, we noticed that some of you said, or one person in particular said, we're looking at doing an internship. Do it. Do a returnship, do an internship, do it, and do it. If they're not offering dollars, sorry to say, I would take it and have a side gig that will continue to pay my bills in other ways. If I can, I really believe you should, or if you can, take on those 5 hours a week so that you can add that to your resume. But I think it's resume writing, LinkedIn profile expert, career intuitive. Love that. Wow, those are really great ways to explain. That's like partially a 30-second, which we are going to talk about a little later on about having your 30-second. But, you know, those things, cover presentations. Hello, we're going to show you some tricks. Actually, here's a trick. We're going to do drum roll. We're going to head into the number 1 skill that you need to have. If you're a Canva person, that is the letter D. That's all it is the letter D. Is your workplace equalizer are your soft skills. Mm-hmm. Today's best talent, as it says here, yeah, they may have all the new tricks and, you know, trends, and they know TikTok and all of that, and all the latest and greatest, as it says here, methods and ways. But guess what? What they're missing are, as we call it, we'll say it here, but don't use it in your interview. The term old-fashioned basics. You know what those are? Those are your soft skills. That's what's important. You are a rock star. And you've got to remind them that you have independence, adaptability, and tech adept. Discuss the ideas you presented to address an issue. Talk about those soft skills. We talked about all the things in 5 through 2. Now combine them into a statement or into how you're independent on the job. They don't have to be checking in on you, especially now that we're working from home offices. The adaptability. Yeah, you're adaptable. Hello, think about the 80s and all the things that we talked about, all the way up to now, and all the changes we've had to make in our lives, from carrying brick phones, if you even had one, to having your mobile phone that you write your notes on, which I would do in an interview just to show that you know tech. Share the ways that you have bridged, again, those things that we learned as tech natives, I'm coining the term myself, into how we are and how we work today in today's workplaces. All of those are so important, ladies and gents. And we want to know, before we go into the 14 key skills that are in demand that we want you to screenshot, we want to hear from you. You know, are there any things that you feel we actually may have been missing? Or what are your thoughts on what we've shared so far? Tech natives. Yes, I'm so glad you like that. Mm-hmm. Any other things that we may have missed that you have seen on the job that you are an expert in that needs to be added and shared with other folks?
Well, we'll just keep going on. Just
all right.
Time, and then we'll come back.
Keep post. Yeah. So next up is the key skills in demand. Communication, honesty, loyalty, all 14 of these skills. Write them down, demonstrate some of them, as we said earlier, in whatever it is, whatever position you are applying for. And Shelley, we want you to talk to these top shelf skills.
So as we were preparing for this, I'm like, I don't see grit, resilience, and inclusivity. So in the pandemic and through 2020, we all know that things shifted. We all know that there has been a pivot in how people are going back to the workplace. The Great Resignation is actually happening. So being technically adept, using that flexibility, resilience, and 2020 is really the year when inclusivity, equity, they're here to stay. So be able to talk about what you've done that shows grit. I don't know, I personally love that rock star from the last, you know, that like, we put up with heavy metal, like that's grit, right? And leg warmers and like Olivia Newton-John, right? Like that's grit. So I just wanted you to know that these are the top shelf skills that my clients are being asked to show. And just to go through the job search, you got to have grit, you got to have resilience, and you have to be able to answer questions on inclusivity, diversity, equity, and belonging. So thanks for putting those top shelf skills in there.
Awesome. You know, and I think on that note too, it's about just simply reminding yourself about what soft skills you bring to the table. So take this as a friendly reminder to take time after this workshop, go through that 14 list, you know, that, well, 14, 17, you know, point on list now, and really kind of be honest with yourself about where you show up best. And are there areas or soft skills that maybe you need to work on? And if so, what's your game plan for working on those? And then, you know, maybe joining us at Career Camp, where we all have Lisa Carmen, who's actually on this call too, talking about how to pepper in some of these soft skills into your resume and making sure that you showcase your best talents and market yourself the best way possible. So with that said, we're gonna, you know, once you kind of got a mindset about where you are, the value that you bring, being, you know, now you're ready, you've got your list set, etc. The important next step is making sure that you know how to communicate that, whether it's in print or whether it's verbally in an interview. But the idea being is that you need to practice it. You need to write it down, make sure that what you're saying is, you know, makes sense, that you can back up based on, you know, with examples or success milestones of what you are communicating. So we're going to be sharing with you a personal brand statement that'll help you kind of start to work through that 30-second elevator pitch, because sometimes, you know, it takes what, 15 to 20 seconds before you make an impression on someone. So you better make sure that if you only have that amount of time, that you're saying something that's worth it's going to have some stickiness, and hopefully will get you the job, or at least get you to the next level in that process. So look for that in an email that will be sent here after this workshop. And we are also going to then talk a little bit about just our program, The Insiders. As Second Act Women, we have an organization that's all about doing workshops like this, really kind of helping women see the value that they bring to the table. And our membership is a one-year membership where you have exclusive access to a litany of just resources, tools, socials, events, and conferences to really boost you up and help you peel away, unfortunately, what ageism has compounded on us. So we're going to be offering up right now, it's usually $180, but for now it's only $129 for the first year. First 250 women to sign up will retain a founding member status. So if you liked today's presentation and could use a little bit more of this, you know, age positivity doses, join us. We'd love to have you on the inside. Be sure to use deal code deal129 at secondactwomen.com to register. As I mentioned a little earlier, Shelly and Lisa are going to be joining us at Career Camp this Friday at General Assembly Denver. It's an in real life person experience. Yay, it's a real life. If you are in need of some support, whether it's, again, you know, getting a little bit more age positivity doses, our worksheet will be focusing on soft skills development. We'll also be having, obviously, Shelly there talking about your career vision and how to amplify your success. Lisa Carmen will be talking about resume makeovers for experienced women. And then we will also have some meditation, and then kind of going behind the scenes with Megan, Joe Specht, and Brian Kerr about how to level up our LinkedIn from a recruiter standpoint to ensure that we get found when we're doing career searches.
Because let me tell you, there are tricks that they taught us that they shared with some of our community members, Meg and Joe, MJ, who's with Amazon, that we had no clue as to how recruiters actually find you and all the different things and spiders that are working in the background to find you. So she's going to give you the keywords and tools and tips and tricks to get found, because she doesn't look at age. And this is a woman who is in her mid-30s, and get this, she comes from the recruiter industry. So she has been in the industry since she was a teenager, because her mom owns an agency. And so she gets it and understands it and is here to help you all get your job. This is open to men and women. So if you are in Denver, the men that are on this call, again, we're not in the sexist in that way at all. So we hope to have you there.
And be sure to use the promo code 5OFF to get yourself $5 off the $39.
So a couple things I'm seeing in the chat. There are men and women across the country who are seeing if they can do it virtually. So I answered yes to that question. They do have a virtual option. And I just wanted to summarize everything that you can receive via this phone call. In the beginning of the chat, there's a giveaway guide for 13 pages of how to amplify your awesome. There is a YouTube channel with Megan Jo. Megan Jo has actually been on Colorado Career Connectors twice in the past 8 months. She is highly sought after. So we are all excited to be doing career camp with SecondActWomen on Friday. There is a free Amplify Your Awesome workshop that I'm giving on Thursday at 4 o'clock. And I am so proud and so honored to be an insider with SecondActWomen. These women are aligned, they're focused, and I'm so grateful to have had Barbara and Lupe today. We will be sending out this recording. I hope that everyone here is interested in the career camp. This is about you. It's about getting your vision. It's about doing your resume in the right way. It's about having Lisa Carmen, who's on this call, to help you with many of those words that from a soft skill perspective, she put in the chat. So we will be sending out copies of the chat, links to where you can find them, the branding website, a copy of the branding document that Lupe was talking about. And if Lisa, Barbara, Lupe, or I can help be of service in your career search, we hope to see you at General Assembly on Friday, or go ahead and sign up for the virtual piece. This is really about you. It's very affordable. It's going to be at General Assembly. So I'm just so honored to be a speaker there. I can't wait. And if you are interested in looking at any of the recordings that we've done for Colorado Career Connectors in the past, we have had getting over your fear, networking in the right way, the leader of Abada, Healthcare One, Megan Jo from Amazon, the head of Telenix. We've had people, and September is going to rock your world even more. I've got the head of military recruitment from Raytheon.
Wow.
And the head of talent for another Denver-based company. And I've got one of the top 25 influential women. Her name is Simone D. Ross, going to be talking about equity in the workplace. So we are here and we're trying to get the word out. We're trying to get our YouTube subscribers up to 100, and we're trying to get our followers for Colorado Career Connectors up to 1,000 by the end of the year. Spread the word. Let us know how we can be of service. Thank you so much to Lupe and Barbara for joining us.
Everyone. It was a pleasure. And we're excited. Yes. I want to just clarify one thing. So Career Camp, it will actually be recorded. So you can purchase the recordings. It won't necessarily be running virtual simultaneously to the live presentation, but you can download either, you can purchase an individual session for one track, or you can buy the whole bundle. Just want to make sure that was clear.
Thank you. So we did have a question from Tammy in the chat that I want to make sure to answer as well. Tammy is asking, how much experience should we remove from our resumes to look younger? It seems silly to me to delete experience, but I feel like I should. So I'll take a stab at that. And then Lisa, if you want to unmute yourself from a resume expert perspective. Tammy, the way that I talk with my clients about that is that anything past 15 years should be previous experience and not have the date on it. You never ever want to put on your LinkedIn or your resume the date that you graduated from college, the date that you graduated from an AA degree or a vocational school or a boot camp. You don't want anything on your resume that will communicate your age. Lyle, thank you for saying that. I have some really good ways to get around that. So 10 to 15 years of experience, and make your accomplishments relevant. What have you done in the past 5 years? What have you done that, I love the soft skills that Second Act Women, Barbara and Lupe brought up, but it's really about metrics-based, select-driven, technical things. I love that Barbara stated also that show that you know CRM systems like Slack and HubSpot and Salesforce and all of these different things to make yourself relevant in speaking with Gen Zs or millennials. Lisa, any other comments to help Tammy?
You know, the way I look at it, thanks, Shelley. The way that I look at it is don't make it so easy for a potential employer to discount you by including all that information in terms of.
That's a good point.
Yeah, put your best foot forward and allow them to meet you where you are and get that interview. That's the whole point of your resume and your LinkedIn profile. And on your LinkedIn profile, show that you're savvy when it comes to technology in terms of LinkedIn. Any employer that's considering you for a job is going to be looking at your LinkedIn. So make sure you've got it updated and that it reflects your best. And it should be a compelling, informative read that makes someone want to reach out to you. But in terms of, Shelley, what you were saying, you're right on target all the way. I agree 100%. I just look at it as they don't know your value until you get in front of them. So don't make it easy for them to discount you before they even meet you. Take off those dates.
George is saying, I almost forgot. Please curate your public info on social media content outside of LinkedIn. Hires, managers, and recruiters are watching that too. That is true. That is true. Don't put anything that you're going to regret putting on there. And I can't even tell you, as the past director of talent for Comcast and Lockheed Martin, so many people put inappropriate things on Facebook. Use that savvy, that professionalism, and all of those years of experience to use your intestinal fortitude to know what is right in a common sense perspective and what is not right. No one wants to see you in Vegas, because what happened in Vegas is going to stay in Vegas.
And leave it there.
So I would also say, Google yourself and see what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
See what comes up on the first page. And as I said, absolutely clear your content. And that's a part of taking a personal audit of how you show up online and offline.
Perfect. We only have 1 minute left. I just want to put a plug in. Our next Colorado Career Connectors is on September 13th. Always a Monday from noon to 1. Again, we have Simone D. Ross talking about how you can be part of workplace equity. How can you can answer the question about inclusivity. We talked about one of the top 3 skill sets being inclusivity. Simone and I are going to take that topic. We're going to unravel it and unpack it so that you, as job seekers or those that want to be promoted or developed, can really answer that question with more savvy and more confidence. Thank you so much, everyone. Special thank you to Barbara, Lupe, and Lisa for being on. We hope to see you at Career Camp this week, whether you are listening to the recordings or we're at General Assembly with you this week. If we can be of any service to you, honestly, that is why we're here. And we hope you have a fantastic week. So amplify your awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you,
bye.
everyone.